A Boeing pilot and an Airbus pilot walk into a simulator. You give them the exact same emergency. One aircraft lets the pilot do whatever they want, even if it means crashing. The other physically prevents the pilot from making certain mistakes. So, which philosophy is correct? The answer has cost lives, saved lives, and divided the aviation world for 50 years. This is Sky Secrets, and what you are about to learn will make you look at aircraft completely differently. Boeing and Airbus do not just build different planes, they have fundamentally opposing beliefs about whether computers or humans should have final authority. Every switch, every system, every line of code reflects this philosophical war. After analyzing 20 years of accident reports and interviewing dozens of commercial pilots, I can tell you that this difference is not trivial. The Boeing 737 MAX disasters happened partly because of it. The miracle on the Hudson succeeded partly because of it. Understanding this rivalry means understanding the invisible forces that keep you safe at cruising altitude. To understand why these aircraft are so different, we must go back to 1970. Boeing had dominated commercial aviation for decades. The 707 revolutionized jet travel in the 1950s. The 747 jumbo jet became an icon. American engineering ruled the skies without question. Then something unprecedented happened. France, Germany, Spain, and the United Kingdom decided to combine their resources. They created Airbus Industry as a consortium to challenge the American giant. But they faced a massive problem. How do you compete against a company with 50 years of experience and unlimited resources? The answer was brilliant and dangerous. Instead of copying Boeing, Airbus would reinvent everything. They would not just build better planes. They would build planes that flew differently, thought differently, and demanded a completely new philosophy from pilots. Their first aircraft, the A300, shocked the industry by being the first twin-engine wide-body jet. Everyone said it was impossible. Airbus proved them wrong. But the real revolution was not the engines. It was what happened inside the cockpit. Airbus introduced fly-by-wire technology to commercial aviation. This was the moment everything changed forever. Here is where it gets fascinating. When you sit in a Boeing cockpit, you find a control yoke. It looks like a steering wheel cut in half. When you pull it back, mechanical cables and hydraulics physically move the flight control surfaces. You can feel the aircraft responding. You sense the air pressure on the wings. It is direct, visceral, and traditional. Now step into an Airbus cockpit. Instead of a yoke, you see a small side stick on the right side of each pilot seat. It looks like something from a video game. When you move it, you are not directly controlling the aircraft. You are sending electrical signals to computers. Those computers interpret your commands and decide how to move the control surfaces. Boeing says their philosophy is simple: the pilot is the final authority. If a captain with 30 years of experience decides to do something, the aircraft will obey, even if the computer thinks it is dangerous. The human being always has the last word. Airbus argues the opposite. Humans make mistakes, especially under stress. Their fly-by-wire system has flight envelope protection. This means the computer will not let you stall the aircraft, even if you pull the stick all the way back. It will not let you overbank beyond 67 degrees. It will not let you overstress the air. The computer protects you from yourself. Which philosophy is correct? The answer has been written in both triumph and tragedy across 5 decades of aviation history. January 15, 2009. Captain Chesley Sullenberger is flying U.S. Airways Flight 1549, an Airbus A320, out of New York. At 3,000 feet, the aircraft strikes a flock of Canada geese. Both engines fail instantly. He has 208 seconds to save 155 people. Sullenberger makes a decision that defies all training. He will ditch in the Hudson River. Just during the descent, the Airbus flight protection system keeps the aircraft at the optimal angle of attack. Even as the captain is focused on finding a landing spot, the computer is managing speed, pitch, and descent rate. The aircraft touches the water at exactly the right angle. Everyone survives. Would a Boeing have done the same? We will never know for certain. But many Boeing pilots argue that manual control would have given Sullenberger more options. Airbus pilots counter that the automation freed him to focus on the impossible decision of where to land rather than fighting to keep the plane flying. This is the paradox. The same system that saves lives in one scenario can cost lives in another. June 1, 2009. Just months after the Hudson miracle, Air France Flight 447 departs Rio de Janeiro for Paris. The Airbus A330 is cruising at 35,000 feet over the Atlantic. The pilots encounter a storm. Ice crystals block the pitot tubes that measure airspeed. The autopilot disconnects. What happens next is terrifying. The junior pilot pulls back on the side stick, putting the aircraft into a stall, but here is the critical detail. In an Airbus, when both pilots move their side sticks, the inputs are averaged. The captain is pushing forward to recover. The first officer is pulling back. The computer averages the two commands. The aircraft remains in a stall. For 4 minutes the Airbus falls from the sky. The pilots never understand what is happening because the flight protection system has degraded to alternate law. The protections they trusted are gone, but nobody told them clearly. All 228 people die when the aircraft hits the ocean. Boeing pilots point to this disaster as proof of their philosophy. In a Boeing, both pilots have control yokes that are physically linked. When one pilot pulls, the other yoke moves. You can see and feel what your co-pilot is doing. The Air France crew would have immediately known they were fighting each other, but the story does not end there. For decades, Boeing maintained their philosophy of pilot authority and mechanical feedback. Then came the 737 MAX. Boeing wanted to compete with the Airbus A320neo, which had more efficient engines. They put larger engines on the 737, but this changed the aircraft's handling. Instead of redesigning the aircraft or requiring extensive pilot retraining, Boeing created the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System. This software would automatically push the nose down if it detected the aircraft was approaching a stall. Here is the problem. Boeing built an Airbus-style computer override system, but they installed it on an aircraft designed for pilot authority. Then they did not tell pilots it existed. October 29, 2018. Lion Air Flight 610 crashes into the Java Sea. 189 dead. March 10, 2019. Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crashes minutes after takeoff. 157 dead. In both cases, faulty sensor data triggered the automatic system. The pilots fought the computer. The computer won. Everyone died. This is what happens when you mix philosophies. Boeing created a system that could overrule pilots, but they put it in an aircraft culture built on pilot authority. They gave pilots neither the Airbus-style protections nor the Boeing-style transparency. The result was catastrophic. This philosophical difference extends to how pilots are trained. When you transition from one Boeing type to another, the process is relatively simple. A 737 pilot can learn to fly a 777 with moderate training because the philosophy is consistent. You always have direct control. You always have mechanical feedback. The systems may be more complex, but the fundamental relationship between pilot and machine remains the same. Airbus took a revolutionary approach. They designed all their aircraft with nearly identical cockpits. An A320 pilot can transition to an A350 with minimal training because all the switches, displays, and procedures are standardized. This commonality saves airlines millions in training costs. But here is the catch. If you are a Boeing pilot switching to Airbus, or vice versa, you are not just learning a new aircraft. You are learning a completely different philosophy of flight. You must rewire your instincts. This is why pilots often become loyal to one manufacturer. It is not just preference. It is about how their brain has been programmed to interact with machines in life-threatening situations. Airlines face an impossible choice. Both manufacturers build excellent aircraft. Both have safety records that are statistically remarkable. So how do they decide? The answer often comes down to fleet commonality. If you already operate 50 Boeing aircraft, buying more Boeings means your pilots can easily transition between types. Your maintenance crews know the systems. Your spare parts inventory is efficient. Switching to Airbus means investing millions in retraining and new infrastructure. This creates a lock-in effect. Airlines become Boeing Airlines or Airbus Airlines. Southwest operates only Boeing aircraft. EasyJet flies only Airbus. The decision made decades ago continues to shape their fleet today, but some airlines operate both. Emirates has both Boeing 777s and Airbus A380s. United operates both families. These airlines maintain separate pilot pools. A United Boeing pilot cannot simply jump into an Airbus. They are treated as completely different careers within the same company. Today the rivalry continues with new intensity. Boeing is developing the 777X with folding wingtips and the world's largest commercial jet engines. Airbus is pushing the A350 and investing in hydrogen-powered air. But the fundamental philosophical divide remains. Boeing still believes in pilot authority and mechanical feel. Their newest aircraft have more automation, but the pilot can always override it. The human remains the final decision maker. Airbus continues to refine flight envelope protection. Their newest aircraft have even more sophisticated computers managing every aspect of flight. The pilot is less a controller and more a systems manager, telling the computer what to do and monitoring that it does it correctly. There is a third competitor emerging. China is developing the Comac C919 to challenge both manufacturers. Early reports suggest they are adopting an Airbus-style fly-by-wire philosophy. If they succeed, the Western duopoly will become a global three-way battle. After 5 decades, thousands of flights and millions of passengers carried safely, there is still no definitive answer. Both philosophies work. Both have prevented disasters. Both have failed catastrophically when circumstances aligned against them. Boeing's approach works beautifully when you have well-trained, experienced pilots who can handle the aircraft manually. It fails when automated systems are added without proper transparency, as we saw with the 737 MAX. Airbus's approach excels at preventing pilot error in normal operations. It fails when the automation degrades unexpectedly, and pilots who have been trained to trust the computer suddenly must fly manually, as we saw with Air France 447. The truth is uncomfortable. There is no perfect system. Every design choice is a trade-off between control and protection, between human judgment and computer precision, between the freedom to make great decisions and the freedom to make fatal mistakes. Right now, as you watch this video, there are approximately 9,700 commercial aircraft in the sky. Half are Boeing, half are Airbus. Every single one is flying according to one of these two competing philosophies. In the next 24 hours, over 100,000 flights will take off worldwide. Pilots will make split-second decisions based on whether they trust the computer or trust themselves. The philosophy built into your aircraft could be the difference between landing safely and becoming another accident report. If this video changed how you see aviation, hit that like button right now. It tells YouTube to show this truth to more people who deserve to know what is really controlling their flights. Subscribe to Sky Secrets because we expose the hidden systems that airlines never explain. Hit the notification bell so you never miss when we reveal another aviation secret. Drop a comment and tell me, would you rather fly Boeing or Air? Your answer might surprise you after watching this.